My name is Emily Carter, and I never thought I'd be telling a story like this. What happened to me was beyond anything I could have imagined. One moment I was just a regular 15-year-old, focused on school, my friends, and the little dramas of everyday life. The next, I was facing something that no textbook, no conversation, no experience had ever prepared me for. It started as a normal Tuesday. Boring, uneventful, just like the ones before it. My alarm blared way too early, and I hit snooze more times than I should have. I barely had time to throw on a hoodie and grab a granola bar before running out the door. My phone was glued to my hand as I scrolled through messages and notifications while walking to school. Everything felt predictable, routine. Until it wasn't. That afternoon, after my last class, I decided to take a different route home. The sun was shining, the air was crisp, and I just felt like thinking. Instead of walking the usual shortcut, I took my bike down a quieter road, one lined with trees and houses with perfect little lawns. I pedaled at an easy pace, my headphones in, letting my favorite song drown out the world. For some reason I felt good. Like really good. And then, in a split second, that peace was ripped away. I was nearing an intersection, lost in my thoughts, when I heard it. The unmistakable screech of tires skidding against asphalt. Time slowed down. I turned my head just in time to see the car speeding toward me. There was no time to react. No time to move. No time to do anything. The sound of metal crashing. The violent force of my body being thrown through the air. And then darkness. Felt nothing. No pain, no movement. Just an eerie, all-consuming silence. It was as if I had been ripped out of reality. Thrown into a space where time didn't exist. For a moment I thought it was over. My life, my dreams, my family, everything just gone. But then something happened. Could hear voices. Distant, frantic. Sirens wailing in the background. I tried to move, to open my eyes, to speak. But my body wouldn't respond. I wasn't in control anymore. And then, just as panic should have set in, an overwhelming calmness washed over me. The pain, the fear, the confusion, it all melted away, replaced by something I can only describe as peace. A deep, consuming peace that made no sense given what had just happened. As I lay there, trapped between life and death, I had the strangest sensation. It was as if my entire life was being rewound before my eyes. And then, without warning, everything changed. Before we continue, I have something special for you. We're building a real community here. A space where we can share stories that touch the soul and open the mind. If you're enjoying this journey so far, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps bring these stories to more people who need to hear them. And now, an exclusive opportunity for you. If you want to be part of our next video and receive a special message from us, comment your name and your city below. Imagine seeing your name on the screen, being mentioned for thousands to hear. It's our way of making sure this isn't just a story, it's a conversation and you're part of it. And stay until the end of the video, because we will reveal the lucky ones who will receive our special message. Everything around me faded into darkness. No sound, no pain, just an overwhelming stillness. I wasn't falling. I wasn't floating. I just existed, weightless and untethered, suspended in a place that had no beginning and no end. Then something changed. A vibration rippled through the silence, like the faintest echo of a heartbeat. It wasn't coming from me. It was coming from everywhere. A steady hum that pulsed through the emptiness, growing stronger, more distinct. Then I saw it. The first flicker of light. It wasn't coming from one direction. It was everywhere, surrounding me in a glow that was warm, inviting. It didn't hurt my eyes. In fact, I didn't even know if I had eyes anymore. I just knew that the light was there. And it was calling me forward. I tried to move, but I had no body. Or maybe I did, but it was weightless, free from anything I had ever known. I wasn't walking. I wasn't flying. I was just moving, being pulled toward something unseen yet undeniable. Then a shift. Memories flooded my mind, flashing like film reels played at high speed. My mom's laughter as she braided my hair when I was little. The smell of my dad's old leather jacket when he hugged me. my best friend Sophia, and I talking for hours about everything and nothing. Then came the regrets, the arguments, the things I wished I had said, the times I had let fear hold me back, the moments I had wasted worrying about things that didn't matter. It all came crashing through me, not as something painful, but as something true. Then another shift. The darkness that had surrounded me moments ago was gone, replaced by something vast, something infinite. And in front of me stood a tunnel of light. It stretched endlessly, glowing with a radiance that felt alive. It wasn't a normal tunnel. There were no walls, no ceiling, yet it had a direction, a pull. Then a whisper. Come. It wasn't a demand. It wasn't a question. It was an invitation. I didn't hesitate. I moved forward, drawn to the tunnel with every part of me. The light pulsed, growing stronger as I neared, filling me with warmth, with peace. But then, something else. Presence. Not in the light. Not part of it. But watching. Somewhere behind me, beyond what I could see, something waited. I turned, at least I think I did. It was hard to tell in a place where my body no longer obeyed the rules of the world I once knew. And that's when I felt it. A chill. Not from the absence of warmth, but from the presence of something else. I wasn't alone. And whatever was out there, it wasn't here to welcome me. A shiver ran through me. Not a physical one, but something deeper, something that gripped my soul. The warmth of the tunnel called me forward, but I could feel it now. Something else lingering behind me. Something watching. Something waiting. It was close. Not in the way that a person stands near you in a crowded room, but in a way that felt invasive, like a whisper brushing against the back of my neck, unseen but unmistakable. Then the whispers began. At first, they were soft, like a distant echo carried by the wind. But as the seconds passed, they grew sharper, circling me, threading through the darkness like invisible hands reaching for me. You don't belong here. Turn back. It's not your time. I tried to block them out, but they pressed against me from every side. Some voices were low and coaxing, almost kind, while others were sharp, laced with something sinister. Then I felt it. The presence. It wasn't like the warmth of the light before me. It wasn't inviting. It wasn't safe. It was something else entirely. I turned, though I wasn't sure if I had a body to turn. In the distance, beyond the last edge of light, something moved. At first, it was just a shadow, shifting, stretching like smoke curling through the void. Then, slowly, it formed. It had no clear shape. One moment, it looked like a towering mass. The next, it was something smaller, hunched, as if observing me. I couldn't see its eyes, but I knew it was looking right at me. A suffocating weight pressed against my chest. It wasn't just watching. It was studying me. Every thought I had ever had, every mistake, every fear. I felt them all rising to the surface, laid bare before whatever this was. It knew me, in a way that made my stomach twist with something close to dread. Then it spoke. Not out loud. Not in a voice I could hear with my ears. But inside me. Do you think you're ready? The words slithered through my mind, slow and deliberate. You have no idea what awaits you. I felt frozen, trapped in a space where time had lost all meaning. For the first time since the accident, doubt crept in. What if I wasn't meant to cross into the light? What if this place, the void, the whispers, the watching presence, was where I truly belonged? The voices around me grew louder, feeding off my hesitation. Turn back. You can't escape. You are ours. I wanted to run, but where? I wanted to fight, but how? The darkness inched closer, the whispers now inside my mind, wrapping around my thoughts, squeezing until I could barely hold on to what was real. And then, voice. Not a whisper. Not from the shadows. A new voice, strong, steady, filled with authority. Enough. The moment the word was spoken, the shadows recoiled. The whispers fell silent. And suddenly everything changed. The moment that voice rang out, the darkness shrank back. The whispers vanished in an instant. The presence that had loomed over me just seconds ago recoiled, as if struck by something unseen. The weight that had crushed me only moments before lifted, And for the first time I could breathe again. But I wasn't breathing. Not really. Not the way I used to. Yet I could feel again. The suffocating fear that had wrapped itself around me was gone. In its place, a warmth radiated from the tunnel of light, stretching outward, pushing the darkness back like shadows retreating from the dawn. Then I saw him. A figure stepped forward from the tunnel, not emerging but revealing himself, as if he had been there all along, waiting for me to truly see. He wasn't like the presence in the darkness. There was no malice, no coldness about him. Instead, he radiated something indescribable, something that wrapped around me, filled every broken space inside me, touched parts of me I didn't even know were wounded. It was peace. It was love. And it was power. He was unlike anyone I had ever seen, and yet, deep in my soul, I knew who he was. His eyes met mine, and I felt everything inside me tremble, not from fear, but from the sheer intensity of his presence. It was like standing in the center of a hurricane, yet feeling no wind. It was like staring into the depths of an ocean, yet knowing you would never drown. He knew me. Not just my name. Not just the things I had done. He knew everything. Every thought I had ever had, every regret, every hidden scar, every moment of my life, even the ones I had forgotten. And yet, there was no judgment in his gaze. Only love. A love so vast, so endless, that it filled the very fabric of my soul. He reached out his hand. The choice was mine. The darkness still lingered, still whispered from the edges of the void, waiting for me to turn back. But it no longer had control over me. The fear that had almost consumed me had no place here anymore. I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. I reached for his hand. And everything changed. Before we continue, I have something special for you. We're building a real community here. A space where we can share stories that touch the soul and open the mind. If you're enjoying this journey so far, hit that like button and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Want to be part of our next video? Drop your name and city in the comments, and in our next video we'll give you a special shout out. Imagine hearing your name, knowing that thousands of people are watching along with you. It's our way of making sure this isn't just a story, it's a conversation and you're part of it. And don't forget, at the end of this video, we will reveal the lucky viewer who will receive our special message. The moment my hand touched his, a warmth spread through me, not just over my skin but deep inside, filling every part of me with something indescribable. It wasn't just warmth, it was life itself, flowing through me in a way I had never experienced before. The tunnel of light wasn't just a passage, it was alive. I could feel it pulsing, radiating something beyond human comprehension. Every step I took forward felt effortless, yet I knew I was moving toward something that would change me forever. Then everything around me shifted. The tunnel expanded, the light stretching until it filled every space around us. And within that radiance I saw, not just with my eyes but with something deeper. I was being shown something. The first vision struck me with an overwhelming force. I saw cities burning, smoke rising into the air as people ran in terror. New York was drowning in chaos. Los Angeles was covered in flames. Washington, D.C., trembled under a weight far greater than anything physical. But it wasn't just destruction. It was division. People weren't just suffering, they were turning against each other. Families fractured. Neighbors became enemies. Fear and anger had taken root, and it was spreading like wildfire. And then I heard his voice beside me. "This is what happens when love is abandoned," he said. His voice steady, filled with sorrow. The vision shifted. I saw leaders standing before crowds, speaking words that meant nothing. They stood behind podiums, promising peace while behind them, unseen forces worked in the shadows, whispering, manipulating, deceiving. A great lie was unfolding. It wasn't just about politics or power. It was something deeper, something that had been in motion long before this moment. It had been planted in hearts, growing over time, shaping minds, twisting truth into something unrecognizable. The weight of it all pressed against my chest, but before fear could settle in, the vision changed again. This time I saw light. Not in the sky, not in the cities, but in people. Scattered across the world, there were those who stood firm, who refused to be consumed by the darkness. I saw hands reaching for one another, strangers becoming family, communities forming, not out of fear but out of faith. Places of worship that had once stood empty were now filled. People who had never prayed before now fell to their knees, not in desperation but in hope. And in the midst of it all, I saw miracles. Water flowing where there had been none. Food appearing where people had gone hungry. The lost being found. The broken being healed. It wasn't the world being saved by force, it was being saved by faith. The vision faded, and I turned back to him. "There is still time," he said. "But they must choose." I didn't need to ask what he meant. I could feel it. The future wasn't set in stone. The darkness was coming. The suffering, the trials, they were inevitable. But hope was not lost. The choice was still in our hands. And I knew, without a doubt, that I had been sent here to witness this. 'Cause I had a mission. The weight of the visions pressed against me, but the fear was gone. In its place, something stronger had taken root: purpose. I had seen the darkness. I had seen the destruction. I had seen how the world was unraveling, thread by thread, pulling people into fear, into division, into chaos. But I had also seen the light, the undeniable force of faith, of love, of redemption. I turned to him, the warmth of his presence still surrounding me, holding me steady in a way I had never felt before. "What am I supposed to do?" My voice sounded different here. It wasn't spoken aloud, yet it echoed, resonating through the space between us. He looked at me, his expression steady, filled with a depth I could barely comprehend. "Tell them." 2 words. Simple. Clear. But they carried a weight that settled deep inside my soul. "Warn them. Remind them that they are never alone." His words weren't just for me. They were for everyone. The world had drifted too far, drowning in distractions, consumed by greed, by anger, by a constant pursuit of things that didn't matter. People had forgotten who they were. They had allowed fear to replace faith. They had let lies replace truth. And yet there was still time. Not much, but enough. I felt the light around me shift, pulling me backward, drawing me away from his presence. I didn't want to leave. Not yet. Not when there was still so much I didn't understand. I opened my mouth to speak, to plead for more time, but before I could, his hand pressed gently against my shoulder. "You will remember," he assured me. "And when the time comes, you will know what to say." The light grew blinding. I felt myself falling, not down, not up, but through. The warmth began to fade, the voices growing distant. I reached out, trying to hold on to the peace, the clarity, the love that had filled me. And then, a deep, searing pain that jolted me back into my body like lightning striking the earth. I gasped, my lungs burning as if I had been drowning and had just surfaced for air. The weight of my body felt crushing, like I had been buried under 1,000 pounds of stone. My chest ached, my limbs weak, unresponsive. Then I heard voices, distant at first, muffled by the ringing in my ears. "She's awake." The world around me was dim. Hospital room. The beeping of machines. The sterile scent of antiseptic. I tried to move, but everything felt heavy, like I had been gone for too long, like I wasn't meant to be back in this body. But I was. And I remembered everything. The visions. The warning. The mission. I had been sent back for a reason. And now it was time to fulfill it. If you're still here, it means this story has touched something inside you. And that means you're part of this journey too. We're building a real community here. A place where stories like this can be shared, where truth can be spoken, and where no one feels alone. We don't make money from this, we do it because we love it, because these messages need to be heard. So if you want to help keep this going, please take 1 second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small action, but it means the world to us. It helps this message reach more people who need it. Thank you for being here. You're not alone. Waking up felt like being pulled through layers of reality, each one heavier than the last. The voices around me grew clearer, the beeping of machines more distinct. My body ached, Every inch of me weighed down by something unseen, as if I had been gone for an eternity and was only now returning to a world that no longer felt the same. I blinked, my vision blurry, adjusting to the dim hospital lights. A nurse hovered nearby, her face filled with a mixture of relief and shock. "Emily," she whispered, as if speaking too loudly might shatter me into pieces. "Can you hear me?" I tried to nod, but my body felt foreign, sluggish. Instead, I let out a small breath, the only confirmation I could offer. The memories hit me all at once. The accident, tunnel, the light, the darkness. The message he had given me still burned in my soul, as if it had been etched into my very being. The warning, the hope, the choice, it was all real. I had seen what was coming. I had seen the world standing at the edge of something vast, something irreversible. But I had also seen the light breaking through the darkness, the people who still believed, who still held on to faith when everything else was slipping away. I had been sent back for them, for those who still needed to hear the truth, for those who had forgotten that they were never alone. Tears welled in my eyes as I tried to find the words, but no one in the room would understand what I had just been through. They thought I had just survived an accident. They didn't know that I had survived something much bigger. I knew that no matter what happened next, no matter how many people doubted me, no matter how hard it would be to explain what I had seen, I had to speak. That was the mission. That was why I was still here. I had been given a second chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. A special message. Elsa from Parlinzier. You are not alone. God sees you, He knows your heart, and He has a plan greater than anything you can imagine. Keep walking in faith and trust that He is guiding your steps. You are deeply loved. Betty Friccianti from Orange County, California. Your journey is not unnoticed. The light you bring to those around you is powerful, and your faith is an anchor. Never doubt that you are here for a purpose. God is working through you in ways you can't even see yet. Before you go, I want you to do something important. If this story has touched you, don't stop here. There's something even more powerful waiting for you in the next video. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now. I promise it will open your heart in ways you never expected. And one last thing, if you want to continue being blessed, hit the like button and comment amen below. Let's spread faith together. If you are still here reading these words, then I want you to know something. You are special. You are not here by accident. You are not reading this by chance. You were meant to be here, in this exact moment, absorbing these words, feeling something shift deep inside your soul. And do you know why? Because you are a person of faith. A person who seeks truth, who listens with their heart, who understands that life is more than just what we see. It's about what we feel, what we believe, what we know to be true in the depths of our spirit. The fact that you stayed until the very end of this journey tells me something beautiful about you. You are stronger than you realize. You have a light inside of you that shines brighter than the darkness of this world. You have a purpose, a mission, a reason for being here that is bigger than anything you can imagine. And I need you to understand this. You are loved beyond measure. Not just by the people around you, not just by those who appreciate you in this life, but by God Himself. He sees you. He knows your name. He has counted every tear you have ever cried, every hope you have ever held on to, every battle you have ever fought. And He is so proud of you. You may not hear those words often enough. Maybe no one has told you today, this week, this year, or maybe even in a long time. But hear them now. You are an incredible person. You deserve good things. Your faith is a powerful force that moves mountains. You are a blessing to this world. Never doubt your worth. Never question if you matter. Never let the world make you feel like you are not enough. Because you are more than enough. You are extraordinary. You are a child of God. And He is walking with you, guiding you, strengthening you. Even in the moments when you feel alone. You are never alone. And just as you have stayed here absorbing this message, I want you to carry it forward. There are people in your life who need your light, your kindness, your love. There are people who are lost, who feel like they have no hope, who don't realize that they are also deeply loved. Be a light for them. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith strong. And know that no matter what happens in this world, you are on the right path. You are part of this community now, a family of faith and strength. And we are here to lift each other up, to share in this journey, and to remind each other that we are never walking alone. Blue Heart, before you go, I have one last request for you. If you have felt something powerful in this story, if your heart has been touched, if you know that God is speaking to you through these words, leave a comment below with not just as a word but as a declaration that your faith is strong, a declaration that you are ready to receive every blessing that is coming your way, a declaration that you believe in something greater than what this world has to offer. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, not for me but so that more people can find this message. There are souls out there searching for this truth, and with your simple act of faith, you can help bring this light to them. And don't stop here. Click on the next video that's appearing on your screen right now. I promise, it holds something even greater for you, something that will awaken your soul even further. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. Thank you for being exactly who you are. You are loved. You are chosen. And your best days are still ahead.